cleaner, enjoy the calming pine scent, the calm scent of Ace disinfectant with apple fragrance, the vibrant citrus scent of Ace bathroom cleaner, and the soft ocean fragrance. With Ace, you're one step closer to acing life on every surface. Ace, the scent of home and the power of clean. Ace products are available in all leading supermarkets countrywide.
Experience Swiss-based education in the heart of Nairobi. With practical, hands-on skills, we prepare you for the dynamic world of culinary arts and patisserie or international hospitality management. Travel the world and gain global work experience through our international placement network as you shape your career as the next global future leader in hospitality. Welcome to the Boma International Hospitality College. May intake is ongoing.
Huu wimbo wetu amefanya Mungu kama sikiza tune yako.
Bonyeza *811*840#.
Rahisi sana. Na mkumbuke,
Sikiza na Citizen ndo nyumbani kwa wasanii wote.
$10 billion Kenya shillings. Just how much does it cost to hire a political bloc in Kenya? And what is the rate card based on? Is it numbers? Is it tribe? Is it clan? And does the party even matter? And if the price stood at $10 billion in 2022, how much did the same cost in 2017? And more importantly, 2013. A president's claim, a former deputy president's denial, and a news gang audit of Kenya's most secretive political auction. Elsewhere, the long-awaited hike of Mount Kenya is on. It was a calm start on Tuesday, followed by a warm Wednesday, but Thursday was rather noisy in Nyandarua. We consult the TripAdvisor as President Ruto's campaign tour of Mount Kenya continues. Jamila's memo tonight offers tips on the uniquely Kenyan skill of political barter trade. Bonyo picks a bone with the scrutiny-free self-appraisal process that makes all elected politicians the joint #1 best performers. Sam Sense calls for the April national reflection on a terror attack in Garissa that seems forgotten, except by survivors and families. Kaikai's kicker is in defense of the youth who are currently targets of spirit-breaking political lectures. And on my take, executive nostalgia persists as bags of goodies remain a development formula in Kenya. The news gang is here.
Sasa ikanifikia mimi. Mimi sasa. Unajua, mimi naweza kukufanya one-term president. Usipofanya hii, usipofanya hii, usipofanya hii, nahitaji bilioni 10. Wewe unajua bilioni 10, Bwana Waweru?
Labda zilikuwa za nini rais? Bilioni
10 ndio niende niongee na watu ya mlimani, you know, ni kupangie siasa, sijui nifanye nini. Mimi nikaona hapa nikamwambia I will not do it. Wacha nimalize. So nikamwambia hii haiwezekani. Na kama ni kuwa one term ni sawa. Hakuna problem.
Well, the political rhetoric in the country persisted this week. But before we get to all of that, you know, we just want to address something, and you're free to do that as well on social media. On X, the hashtag is NewsGang at Citizen TV Kenya. We're also taking a look at your text messages on the number 22422. But before we get to all of the politics that took place this past week, We have noted here a rising trend of, it would seem we take life a little callously.
Yeah.
You know, we've had some rather tragic stories, Jamila, including one today done by Ode Francis.
Yeah, the story today is about a student from Multimedia University who had been missing, Sylvia Kemunto, whose body was recovered last night in a water tank at the rooftop of a hostel within the campus. She had disappeared for 3 days. Her family and friends were trying to find out where she was. And then now her body was found last night in that tank. And of course, there's suspicion has fallen to a fellow first-year student, because she was also a first-year student, who apparently had romantic intentions towards her and she wasn't interested. So there's this whole thing that says allegedly went to her room and then he killed her and stuffed her in a suitcase, yeah, before dragging her to his room and then now throwing her in that tank. And then her body was found last night, and today Ode Francis did the story. And Yvonne, I think for me it brings up the issue of human dignity, or our lack of it as a society. I was looking at the definition of dignity, and it is the right of a person to be valued and respected for their own sake and to be treated ethically. But we need to question ourselves about whether we've forgotten our human dignity or if we have lost it completely. Because after all these cases, there was a body that was found on a mattress the other day of a lady. There was another one that was found thrown somewhere. There was another one that you hear has been killed by a boyfriend. You hear someone has disappeared and their body has been found. We even have a whole femicide commission, that task force that was formed to look into it. But Yvonne, I think what worries me is that such incidents do not anger us. Such incidents do not enrage us. Because for most of us, we actually struggle to remember the names of the victims. Because now today's victim is Sylvia Kemunto, but people will not remember her because we are no longer shocked or alarmed by such incidents. So long as it has not stuck close to home, so long as it's not somebody that I don't know, it doesn't matter. So we ignore and move on. And I think as a society, we need to realize that if we stop caring, we are losing our humanity. Utu. The fact that you don't care that someone amewawa, amepotea, ametupa kwa tank, and then when it becomes normal that someone has disappeared and then mwili yake imepatikana baadaye, we have lost our humanity. And I think we need to realize that every human life matters. If it is someone prominent ambaye amefariki ama amepotea, we make a big deal out of it and it actually matters. But then when it's someone mwananchi wa kawaida ambaye ametoweka, amefariki, we move on swiftly, we don't worry, we don't care. But I think we need to start worrying, we need to demand action, and we need to kujali wenzetu, and we need to demand that haki itendeke. That kupiga kelele mtu amepatikana, tumtafuta aliyehusika and take action.
I know sometimes we talk about how depressing the news can be. And sometimes when we're telling these stories, it can be depressing. While that is valid, it is also important for us to continue to tell these stories, I think, to be able to sensitize society about what is happening. We had a story of a young baby who was poisoned.
Yes, in Nakuru.
In Nakuru. Did you see the woman? I mean, the mother, she was in shock. I mean, you know, absolute shock. And we have these stories every day, and as depressing as they may be, I think it's important that we take them seriously and use that as a reflection. And that is the work that we do, which is a reflection of what is happening in society. There is terrible things that are happening out there. You talked about that task force. We've heard some harrowing stories from that task force that I think has about a month to go before they present their report to the president. Something isn't right. We're becoming numb to all of these things, and it's, oh yeah, it's just yet another death. I mean, and it's all of that. It's you know, children on the roads who are not safe coming home from school. Linus, I don't know what you think before we get to the table.
I mean, there's the unfortunate fact of how we respond according to class. Have you taken a moment to imagine if the person discovered in the tank today was a politician or a government official? The response will be more alarmed. Or even the road accident that claimed lives of the Ober Secondary School earlier this week. Absolutely zero comment from the official authorities. And this normalization of death, especially of regular people, is something that should be found very, very disturbing, because we know that in developed environments, a death is something that alarms the entire society, especially the authorities. And they'll move in swiftly and very quickly, and the concern will be palpable, especially from the official side of things. there are a lot of privateers in this country that makes it really, really disturbing as a statement of how we value life, especially that of the ordinary people.
Yeah. Jay?
Thanks, Yvonne. My heart goes out to all the families that are grieving their loved ones at this particular moment. Life is sacred and must always remain that. I think it is about time as a nation we pressed the reset button and just asked what are the values that we as a people take upon ourselves. As Jamila would rightfully say, itabidi tujiite mkutano and ask these very difficult questions. Everyone has a responsibility, and that responsibility is to safeguard and protect that life, either yours or the person next to you, at whatever cost. We are normalizing things that previously were unheard of. Death in learning institutions was just not there. But today, the high number of killings we cover in our learning institutions is alarming. Does it mean that the curriculum has changed? Does it mean that the parenting has changed? There is something that we are not getting right. And as a nation, as a people, we really need to reflect, press the reset button and ask ourselves, what do we value most?
Sam?
Right, and if we are to look at even the news that we had today, we're talking about at least 4 stories about killings, whether it's the top Cohen investigation, or there's the story of the student at MMU, Multimedia University, or is the story from Nakuru of a pastor and the murders that are involved in, including poisoning young children. At the same time, we are receiving reports that 97 femicidal cases have already been reported in the first quarter of the year 2025. If you had to look at the numbers in 2024, it's 172. So 97 in quarter one, it's already more than 50% of what 2024 recorded. What exactly is going on here? Because when you look at femicide and other crimes like sexually related offenses, like, what do you call it, under the Sexual Offences Act, they are usually by people known to the victims that are the ones that are causing this. In fact, there's something else that is called familicide, where you find a member of a family is committing suicide on a group of people in their family, including killing themselves, like what we've seen in the news today. So there's a question that we need to address there, because when there are suspected official abductions or enforced disappearances, there's a bit of noise. When there is shooting on the streets, there's a bit of noise. But when these femicide cases, when these killings, when it's based on the family are involved, we're not hearing as much. And I think we have to reflect again as a society to decide how do we want to resolve conflict. Because like you're saying, Yvonne, about depressing news, and which is the reality of our country. You recall, I don't know which it was, we were coming into a new year when we had a lady whose body was discovered in an Airbnb facility. Of course, dismembered in such a harrowing situation. What is this? And what do we need to do? Because if young people are doing this to their girlfriends, I never knew that actually that is something that can be said in news, but they're having romantic relations that end up in such a situation, we need to talk and figure out what exactly is going on. For the task force that is dealing with femicide cases, I know they are looking for input from different people, looking for answers on what to do. But I think as they go with hearing different voices, like today they're hearing stakeholders who are talking about how femicide is executed, they also need to perhaps make recommendations as they go on what can be done to really contain this situation.
Yeah, let's hope there's a change. I mean, and you know, you also talked about extrajudicial. I mean, Brian Odhiambo is still missing. And even those are becoming normal. It's another person who's been abducted and then, you know, found. Even that is becoming normal and doesn't shock